Hello, I'm Trisha Murray and welcome to Birth and Baby Academy. Are you worried about giving birth? Maybe you've always been worried about giving birth. Maybe you've heard lots of really difficult birth stories and it's just making you feel absolutely terrified to give birth. Well, the great news is you're in the right place. I've worked with hundreds of women to make them feel much more positive about their birth experience. I've worked with them pre-birth, during birth, post-birth, so they can reflect on their births positively. So what we're going to learn about today is around the NHS system and the maternity system within NHS. This is absolutely key that you learn how to navigate the system so that you can get the best birth possible for you and you can reflect positively on your birth experience. At the end of this, if you go to birthandbabyacademy.com and you can download a free cheat sheet, 101 questions you might have around giving birth. Okay, so why is it important that we navigate the NHS system? Why is that important to you? And what do I mean about the NHS system? What is it? Well, we have systems all around us. Every single day of our life, we have systems. We deal with systems. Transport systems, banking systems, financial systems. We have systems every single place that we look. And I want you to think about a time that you've come in contact with the system. So let's just think about a time that you have travelled somewhere, especially airport travel. Think about that time that you have booked that Ryanair flight. Think about how you managed to find the best seats for you at the right price. Think about how you found the details around what cabin size luggage you could have, what you could take on board. And just think about the first time you went to the airport, what it was like. Getting there at the right time, navigating the check-in area, navigating the security desk, getting to the gate. Think about all those stresses that we deal with. And the more we do those, then the easier it becomes. So after you've done it a few times and you've walked that path a few times, you know how to do it much easier. But the issue is with birth is that you generally only come into that system a couple of times. And the first time you come into it, it's a really monumental time of your life. You're coming into the system to have your baby and it's all new. And all that newness can quite often make you feel quite anxious and worried. You don't know what's happening and because of that, you generally follow the path that is set out for you. However, to have the best possible birth experience, you need to know how to navigate that path and walk through each one of those stages in a way that is unique for you. 33 to 45% of women end up reporting birth trauma. The number could be much higher. I see them every single week in my clinic for birth trauma recovery, and often what's happened to them is a misunderstanding about the choices that are right for them within the system. Now, I don't want to slag off the system or the people that work within the system because there's absolutely brilliant people who work there. Some of the midwives that I've come across over the years have been absolutely fantastic and I'm hugely indebted to them myself, as well as many of the other women that I work with. They are absolutely a great resource that we have working for us in the NHS. So let's look at two different women. The first woman had a caesarean birth at the end of her first pregnancy. With her second pregnancy, she really wanted to attempt a vaginal birth after a C-section, often referred to as a VBAC. So she spoke to her midwife and her midwife was hugely supportive of it. And then she spoke to her consultant, again hugely supportive of it. But the consultant said it had to be within certain restrictions, and that was that she went into spontaneous labour herself within the first 10 days after her due date. That woman went into hospital 10 days after her due date and ended with a repeat caesarean birth and subsequently ended up with postnatal depression and felt very guilty and shameful around the birth that she had and very disappointed with her overall birth experience. She felt that she had been robbed. The second woman also had a caesarean birth at the end of her first pregnancy, and this time round she decided that she was going to do it completely differently, and the first step that she did was to hire a doula. A doula is a professional birth support partner and they work with you throughout your pregnancy and birth. There's numerous benefits of having a doula assisting you, including 50% reduction in C-sections, 25% shorter labours, 40% less women ask for pain relief, and many more benefits. It's worth looking them up. With having a doula by her side, that doula worked with her through various appointments with the midwife and the consultant, and really worked with her around informing her of all the different risks at all the various times. Using that doula, she managed to navigate the system, but also build confidence that she decided to opt to have a home birth. And having a home birth, she ended up birthing 4 days after her due date at home in the water, and it ended up being a very healing experience. I know that because I worked with her. That first woman, on the other hand, that was me. And these were the lessons that I learned, and this is what I bring to you through the Birth and Baby Academy, are all these lessons that I've learned about how to navigate the system. I've worked through what happened to me, and I have unpicked it and reflected on it. And I'm bringing that to you now so that you can learn from my experiences and that you can end up reflecting very positively on your experiences. So let's talk about interventions. Interventions are in the shape of being induced, having epidural, having a C-section, and there are many other interventions that happen within that. Often these interventions are for medically valid reasons. So it could be, for example, that you've got preeclampsia, that you've got HELLP syndrome, that you've got a cord prolapse, lots of other medical reasons. And these are perfectly valid reasons to have an intervention. However, there's a number of routine interventions. So it could be the fact is that you're over the age of 40, or that you get beyond your estimated due date. Lots of other factors for different routine interventions. And however, there's very, very, very little evidence that these routine interventions actually reduce the rates of adverse outcomes for mums and babies. Let me ask you, how are you going to find out about all the different interventions that could happen? And when is the right time to choose intervention? What tools do you have that help you to decide if the intervention is right or wrong for you? How can you navigate that? How can you learn to get the confidence to say yes and the confidence to say no? Building confidence is key to this, as well as building knowledge. And I would like to work with you to do that. Having a better birth doesn't come from inaction, it comes from holistic birth preparation, and that includes learning about the system and learning how to navigate it, learning how to make the right decisions from you. So the more time you spend doing this and the more time you spend learning about how to make the system work for you, it means you're much more likely to have a birth experience that you can reflect on positively. So what are you going to commit to today? What actions are you going to do? Go to the birthandbabyacademy.com and download my free cheat sheet, 101 questions that you might have around giving birth. And make sure that you include your birth partner in all your plans. They are an equal person in this birth, and it's so vital that they are included in every decision, because once they understand what it is that you want and how they can support you, then you are going to feel much safer and much more protected by them in the system. It's your time to learn how to relax deeply and learn wisely and experience a much better birth.